What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, been doing a lot of these ranking houses and line videos from worst to best. And this one in particular, you saw it in the title, we're talking Bulgari. This is all 16 of the Bulgari fragrances that I own. This one was tough because I don't even consider one of these mediocre. There is no actual worst. It's just least favorite, which was really hard to decide. Like, this was literally the toughest one so far to figure out what was going to be last. And yeah, I mean, what was going to be first wasn't hard, but man, these first couple we're going to get into, I got nothing bad to say. This just something's got to come in the worst spot on up. So let's dive into it. Stay tuned. Great rainy day fragrance. It's in the name. Bvlgari Man Rain Essence. So I don't wear it all the time, but I mean, I literally think it's one of the most appropriately named fragrances ever. When I get asked about rainy day fragrances, because I don't really think that's much of a thing, but a lot of people treat it as a thing, this stands out. It's the T note here gives this kind of muggy green feel to it. It's got a fresh, musky, watery accord. It really does paint the picture of a cloudy, rainy day. Rain essence. They nailed it. Some storytelling from mid-level designers. You don't see accurate storytelling too often from what would be considered a mid-level designer. So it's actually pretty impressive. You know, slightly above average performance. Nothing crazy. Good longevity. Not a really loud fragrance. Something had to go in this spot. And for me, it's Bvlgari Man Rain Essence. Now this next one, it's pretty much a blue fragrance, which may surprise you that it's so low because it's considerably blue. It's a woody aromatic. It's generic. I think that's why it goes here, but still a good fragrance. It's Bvlgari Man Wood Essence. A lot of people enjoy this one, myself included. We're actually going to give a little spritz on the hand so I can sniff on it, because it does smell really good. Kind of slightly reminds me of Issey Miyake L'Odyssey Vetiver a little bit. The way the woodiness and the sweetness comes across. Not quite the same. This has, you know, some nice spicy tones to it. A little bit of fresh spicy accord. But still very aromatic, woodsy. A little bit of citrus. Decent. Another one, slightly above average performance. This is a great everyday wear. For people that just want to grab that one fragrance and not have to think about it, not put any thought into it, just dumb reach kind of stuff as it's called, this is great for that. It's Bvlgari Man Wood Essence. Now this one, years ago, I was a huge fan of this one. But I've since gotten a lot more Bulgari fragrances that I do enjoy over it, but it's still a good fragrance nonetheless. It's Bvlgari Man Black Cologne. You don't hear anything about this anymore. So it's basically Man in Black, but the fresher take, because it still has the rum. It's still centered around the tuberose, but it's an overall fresher profile. It's still really, guess I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff on my skin because I'm gonna want to sit here and constantly spray stuff to sniff it. See, that's a beautiful fragrance. It's unfortunate that it's got to be so low here in the rankings, but I just prefer the other ones more because this is such a good fragrance. It's been so long since I've worn it. It's easy to forget how really good something is, and I did spray a lot of these. That's what helped me to rank these last night when I gathered all these fragrances. Look, I don't know how readily available it is. I don't know if it's still in production, but if you like Bvlgari Men in Black, which is going to be a lot of people's favorite, spoiler, it is not my number one. It's up there, but it's not my number one. You're bound to like this one because it's just a fresher reworking of that particular profile. So Bvlgari Man Black Cologne. Now coming in at 13, it's my least favorite of the four that I have. There's 6 fragrances in total. I don't have the tonic flankers. Some of you know I'm talking about the Aqva line. It's Aqva Amara, the insane hype beast at one time. I like it a lot. Don't love it. It's my least favorite of the 4 that I have because I just really enjoy the other 4 more, but I am happy to have it. And so this is a musky, smoky, aquatic orange. Based around orange, the Olibanum here gives it a little bit of smokiness, and it's got kind of this musty orange smell to it, if you will. It can be a little funky. It's kind of a turn off for some, but gives it an interesting character for being a smoky aquatic, based around orange citrus. Really good performer too. I kind of want to spray this one as well. Before you know it, I got 16 fragrances on me. I'm not going to do it. But this is one that I would encourage if you ever have an opportunity to get your nose on it. I believe it's been discontinued for a while now. I'm not 100% certain. I don't know how easy it is to find bottles for a decent price. It's not the end of the world. I'm pretty sure it is discontinued. It's not the end of the world if you can't get it. Actually, let me recommend a alternative for you. Sammy Andrus has a great interpretation that's actually stronger. It's called Aqua Heaven from Sammy Andrus Fragrances. It's same fragrance, and it's actually a bit stronger, so because that's an extrait, so the oil concentration is a lot higher, but he nailed the scent profile. So if you're looking for this, just grab that, because I do believe this has been long discontinued, but good stuff. Just lower on my list at 13, Aqua Amara. At number 12, I actually sprayed this one on skin last night. Very green, intensely green, to be honest with you, but my least favorite of the three. They do have a new flanker, an eau de parfum flanker that came out that I haven't gotten around to yet, so there's a fourth one in the line, but this is Bvlgari Homme Soir. This was sent to me, it's a partial, by my favorite IFBB Pro, Michael Gasway. Mike, if you see this, I appreciate you, sir. Because I got the original and the extreme. He's like, hey, I don't rock this one. I got the Soir. Let me send you this bottle. And it is really nice. I got to say, it's got an interesting, astringent, fruity note to it. I don't remember exactly what it is, but a lot of green. Intensely green, but fresh. Super, super fresh. Even a little mintiness, like cypress kind of green, if you will. Man, it is a good one. It is a good one. But I do think the original and the extreme are a bit better. You can find these, I want to say Fragrance By had it in stock. I don't know if they still do currently. Not the one I would advise to go after if you're looking in this line, but you could do a lot worse. If you have the other ones, you might want to look into this one, but I wouldn't say this is the definitive. If you're just going to get one, get this one. But it's still a pretty good fragrance nonetheless. It's Bvlgari Homme Soir. Coming in at number 11, there was a time when I called this my favorite from the house. This is Bvlgari Man Extreme. This was dropped. You can see a big chunk of glass missing on the bottom. So what's most prominent to this one's this slightly bitter, juicy, fresh, spicy cactus note with some citruses. This is a really good fragrance. Really, really good for the springtime as well. I have not worn this fragrance in quite some time. I used to, years ago, I used to give it a good amount of praise when I had first got it. Another one that I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult to get a bottle of. I don't know if it's still in production, but man, forgotten good stuff. If you like things like Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger, which also have that cactus note, kind of in that realm of citrus, cactus, green, bitter, fresh, spicy, juicy, all these different ways to describe how it smells. It doesn't smell exactly like Tommy, but they do share some elements, most notably that cactus note. This one's a really good performer, 6 to 8 hour range longevity. Look at Bvlgari Man Extreme. Now with number 10, there's a lot of people that like this one. You got to be a fan of Neroli though. Bvlgari Man Wood Neroli. So found this one in Chicago at Marshall's. One of those adventures at the rack stores with George Zaharoff. This was one of those trips. This is such a good fragrance. There's a lot of designer level Neroli fragrances that smell similar to this one. They're all kind of in the same family of scent profile, whereas I think this is the deepest one of the bunch. This one's got the most nuance. This one's a little bit on the spicy side. Obviously has a strong woody presence with even in the name. Centered around Neroli. Neroli, citrus, a little spiced and woodsy. Really, really good stuff. I gotta say, when it comes to designer Nerolis, this is one of the best. To some people might even say the best, and there's a good argument for that, for sure. Hence why it's starting us off on the top 10. If you like Neroli, you definitely want to try Bvlgari Man Wood Neroli. And number 9, when I had gotten this one, I was wearing it pretty often and rapidly for the first few weeks of having it. Bvlgari Man Glacial Essence. I haven't worn it in quite some time though. I need to revisit this one. I'm a fan. Very, very fresh water, fresh woodsy. It's got this clear wood note to it. Very clean. Super, super clean, airy, fresh, watery. Not loaded down with citrus, but so fresh. Inherently fresh. It's it's classified differently from this, but I like to say it's like a woody aquatic. would be the way to look at it, because its two most prominent things is a freshwater accord and that clear wood note. Beautiful stuff. Doesn't get the kind of love I think it deserves personally. Another one above average performance, 6 to 8 hour range on me. Definitely one worth checking out. Bvlgari Man Glacial Essence. The standard for the Aqva line, the original Bvlgari Aqva pour Homme. I wore this one not that long ago. When it comes to designer saltwater fragrances, Mount Rushmore kind of stuff right here, guys. I gotta say, you gotta put respect on Bvlgari Aqva's name. Still in production, still a really good performer. I get every bit of 8 hours out of this fragrance. I've heard some people say since reformulation it's so weak. I still get 8-9 hours out of it. It's not the strongest of the bunch to me as far as the Aqva line that I have, but yeah, I get really good performance out of this one still. It's got that seaweed saltwater smell. Obviously, there's some citruses as well, but this is a true marine aquatic Gulf of, knee deep in the Gulf of Mexico kind of saltwater vibe to this one. Set the standard that I think a lot of salty aquatics have kind of followed. It's been out for a long time. This is an iconic 2000s aquatic for sure. Bvlgari Man Aqva. I'm sorry, not Bvlgari Man, but Bvlgari Aqva pour Homme. In at number 7, there's a longtime subscriber to the channel. Profile is called MG. Was on me for like 2 years to get this, and when I finally did, I understand why he was on me. The original Bvlgari pour Homme. This smells like a very green Versace Mano Fresh. This smells like a much deeper Star Walker from Mont Blanc, like much deeper, more complex, better performance. Another one I get every bit of 6 to 8 hours in longevity out of. A lot of greens, juicy citrus, super watery. Like I said, it reminds me of Star Walker, Versace Mano Fresh. More Star Walker because of the green elements here, but a bit more musk woods. Like it's a deeper scent. It's a great everyday wear. This is like classic citrus aromatic, masculine type of stuff. Done really, really well. Bvlgari pour Homme is really good. Like really good. Shout outs to MG. He was so right on this one. I liked it so much it compelled me to get the Extreme. And then Michael Gasaway to say, hey, since you're getting the other ones, here's Soir. Let me send you this bottle. And I will get the Eau de Parfum eventually. But yeah, if you like Star Walker and you want basically the best version of Star Walker's profile, check out Bvlgari pour Homme. And with that said, at number 6, I do prefer this because the greens are intensified even more. Bvlgari pour Homme Extreme. It is a little bit better because it's that scent profile, and it's the extremely green version, hence Extreme. Yeah, they intensify it so much more. Loads of cypress, I think basil, stuff like a lot of green, a lot more green here. More so than Soir, definitely more so than regular pour Homme. The Extreme, to me, it's the one to beat, hence why it's the highest ranked of the bunch. It's almost cracked my top 5 from the house. Man, this is the one that I was referring to earlier, that if you're just going to get one, this is the one I think you should get. The most balanced would be Bvlgari pour Homme, but if you prefer fresh greens, that's kind of your thing, you really like a good fresh green fragrance, go with Bvlgari pour Homme Extreme. Time for the blasphemy. Time for some blaspheming. Some people are going to be upset with this ranking. So, I don't know if you noticed, I raised the standing desk a bit more. It's adjustable. I love this thing. Got it raised up pretty high, so I don't have to kind of lean down as much anymore. Now I can just kind of just chill on it. So, Bvlgari Man in Black. Yep. It's number 5. To each their own, right? Yeah, I still love it. It's still in my top 5 out of 16. I think that still matters. Yes, I know the Parfum's easy to find now. Yes, I know Fragrance Buy has had it in stock. I just haven't bit the bullet and bought it yet. I will at some point. So with this one, immediate tie in the Spice Bomb in the opening. Super spicy. The biggest difference here is that rum. You get a lot of booze. It's warm, boozy, spicy. But it changes into a completely different fragrance as it dries down. This tuberose iris woody note, it becomes a creamy woody floral. Vastly different from the boozy, warm, spicy fragrance that you get at the top. Because that stuff does fade at a certain point. And the tuberose iris and woody note take over, and it doesn't become too flowery. There's a little bit of creaminess. There's a little touch of this floral powder smell. It's not too flowery, but it's distinctive. Those are the two main notes that took over in the transitional phase into the dry down. This is a beautifully elegant masculine fragrance. It starts off very rugged in your face and becomes very sensual as it dries down, kind of like going through your evening, if you will. It's such a good fragrance. I totally get why it's a lot of people's favorite from the brand. It's a flanker that spawns some of its own flankers, and literally in two spots, a flanker to specifically Man in Black is ranked at number 3, and you'll get to that. That's long discontinued too, but we'll get to that in a moment. Performance used to be phenomenal in the old batches, from what I understand. This is like a 2020 bottle, so not super old, but not super new either, and I get 7 or 8 hours out of it, so I mean, I have no performance issues. But at number 5, Bvlgari Man in Black. Coming in at number 4, to me, the second best in the Aqva line, Aquamarine, the most aquatic of the bunch. So it's not as crazy salty as it is crazy, airy, fresh. It's still a saltwater marine fragrance. I mean, marine's even in the name. It's the most aquatic centric of the bunch. I don't get loads of seaweed here. I do get plenty of citrus. It's so airy and fresh and ozonic and bright, light and uplifting. Still a good performer. Still 6-7 hours. Not as strong as the other ones. Honestly, it's the weakest of the 4 in longevity. Projection, it's so bright and airy. It's really strong up front. The sillage isn't immense here, but man, hands down the most refreshing of the bunch. This one I believe is still in production as well. This is really, really good. If you want just the freshest for summer from all of the 16 I have here, it's this one. It's not even close. Hence why it cracked the top 5. It is that damn good. Number 4. Bvlgari Aquamarine. Number 3, this is so spicy and woodsy. It's far superior to Man in Black in my opinion. This is Bvlgari Man Black Orient. Winter only. This is super, super warm and spicy and woodsy. It's got this leathery, oudy type of smell, like sharp, dry wood, dry, warm wood, pencil shaving kind of thing. Animalic, edgy, rough and rugged, super hot spice. It's so uber masculine, cozy, assertive, powerful. This is one of the strongest fragrances of these 16. This is a beast. This one right here is a beast. This is 10 to 12 hours and really strong. Loud. You got to be easy on the sprays here. There's no reason to have multiple sprays beyond like 3 or 4, because it's like really pushing it at that point. Man, phenomenal. I'm so glad to have this bottle. I haven't worn it much because it's so situational. I've worn it casually with a hoodie, and I feel so underdressed when I wear it, because this is a statement maker right here, but definitely cold weather only. I strictly look at this one in the winter time. I need to remember to pull this out this winter, because it's been a while. It's been 2 winters, I think, since the last time I wore it. So 2 years. It's been a while, but man, phenomenal. It's in my top 3. Bvlgari Man, Black Orient. My number 2 may surprise you. This is the first. Is it the first or the second? My top 2 are my first 2 fragrances I ever got from Bulgari. Nostalgically tied to the beginning of this channel, because some of my early reviews, especially my number 1, were of these fragrances. Literally, my very first video I ever did, this fragrance is in. My first full review, my number 1. So, I love Bulgari, and I love these 2 fragrances. This is just so unique for being called blue. Bvlgari Blv. I still use the aftershave balm here and there. The shower gel is long gone. It's so unique. The tobacco blossom, it's creamy, powdery, floral, fresh. Like tobacco blossom sounds like it would have some earthiness. Not really. Airy, aromatic, breezy, fresh, but creamy at the same time. Powdery at the same time. It's such an I'm going to say odd fragrance, because it's not odd. It's different. Different's a good way to look at it. I really like this one. Clearly, it's my number 2 out of 16 from the house. And, you know, I've had it for years, and the dent isn't huge because I only wear it in certain situations, because this is like an elegant warm weather fragrance. This isn't just casually running around. I mean, it can be, but I don't know. It's just something special about it to me. Beautiful fragrance. You can still find this one, too. I never tried any of the flankers. Shame on me, because I love this one so much. You would think I would have tried some of the flankers, because they do have like 2 flankers, I want to say. But yeah, if you've never tried Bvlgari Blv pour Homme, you might be missing out, because hell, it's my number 2. And my number 1 through process of elimination should be no surprise. Bvlgari Aqva Atlantiqve, my favorite. One of my favorite blues ever, one of my favorite aquatics ever, one of my most complimented fragrances. I wore this one not that long ago, too. It smells like if you took this. Let me give a good representation here, because it's not like it's far. If these two had a baby, Bvlgari Aqva and Dylan Blue, you would get Aqva Atlantiqve. This smells like these blended. And I'll argue with anybody. You cannot convince me otherwise. That is what it smells like. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Saltwater aquatic blue, ambery, woodsy, musky, strong, 8 to 10 hours longevity, loud for 2 hours, dense sillage. I don't really go super nose blind to this one. 5 sprays has always been more than enough. 7 sprays pushing it. The first time I wore it, I did 7 sprays, and I got told I was wearing too much at work. I was at Mercedes. Did get several compliments that day as well, but my boss told me, he's like, man, you're all I smell. You're wearing too much. He's like, you're filling up the department. 7 sprays in the morning. I had it on for about an hour at that point, so it was pumping off the skin still. Yeah, this is a monster. I'll never forget that. It was so memorable, because it's like, damn, okay, I got to dial it back. And then I started doing like 4 or 5. Still get compliments almost every time I've ever worn it. It's so good. I do have a 100 milliliter backup gift set that, you know, maybe one day I'll get to. I do have a decent dent. You can see the juice level there. So I got the reflection. There you go. Now you can see that juice level. It's the reflection of my big old light that makes it hard to see this angled behind the camera right over here. It's reflecting right into it perfectly. I've always kind of liked these quirky water drop style bottles, you know, even though they suck on a shelf. They do. I know you're supposed to get the little plate holders and stuff to hold them up. I know, the little frame holders. Somebody's going to say that in the comments. I never got around to it, but I love the bottle design. I think they're wildly unique and really fit the theme. And the fragrances themselves are great, and I think this is the king of that mountain. I think it's an all-time great blue fragrance. I think it's an all-time great aquatic fragrance. I think it's an all-time great performer. I think it's an all-time great high-level compliment getter. Obviously, that's situational from person to person, but this particular DNA, the probability is high. There's no guarantees ever with any fragrance, because there's more that goes into it than just the fragrance smelling good. It's you. You are a huge part of it. What they see and hear and smell and feel and touch, all the senses plays a role. The fragrance just is part of it to getting a compliment. But my favorite Bvlgari fragrance, and I don't know if it'll ever be topped, because I don't know. On top of me loving everything about the way it smells, performs, get compliments, all that good stuff, this is the first full review I ever did on this channel, was this. My first individual fragrance review on this channel was this fragrance, this bottle right here. So I got that. And then the not so citrusy summer fragrances, my first video, period. This was an honorable mention, because I do like it for the summer. So my number 1 from Bvlgari, Aqva Atlantiqve. Well, that's how I rank the 16 Bvlgari fragrances that I own. Not a bad fragrance among them. Not one is average, mediocre. A little, like wood essence is a little generic, but it's really good for the generic genre it falls into. Rain essence is super unique. It's just like, it's the one to gravitate to the least, so we'll rank that one as worst. None of them are bad. They're all good. I like every single one of these fragrances a lot. on up to love some of these fragrances, as you saw with Bvlgari Blv and Aqva Atlantiqve, for example. Good stuff indeed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe before you leave the video. I sure appreciate you checking it out. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 16 that I have here, especially in my, I would say, top 10, and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.